The dragons frequently raided the Viking village to steal sheep, which fueled Stoic's deep hatred for them. During a previous argument with Hiccup, Stoic had learned the location of the dragon's lair and the Dragon King. Determined to rid the world of the Dragon King, Stoic tied Toothless to a sheep and forced him to guide them to the dragon's lair. He rallied all the warriors of the village, preparing for a final assault on the Dragon King. Hiccup, however, understood that the dragons were raiding the village because they were controlled by the Dragon King. If the dragons failed to provide food to the king, they would be eaten. Having witnessed the power of the Dragon King firsthand, Hiccup was convinced that his father would fail. In his moment of uncertainty, Astrid came to comfort him. After some persuasion, Hiccup decided to go and rescue his father and Toothless. Without carrying any weapons, Hiccup released the fire-breathing dragon. The dragon, seeing that there was no immediate threat, let its guard down. In front of his friends, Hiccup demonstrated that dragons could indeed be tamed. The young villagers were excited at the idea of riding dragons into battle. After a short training session, they set off on their mission. Meanwhile, Stoic had arrived near the dragon's lair. After surveying the terrain, the group devised a strategy and began their attack. At Stoic's command, the catapults were launched. The stones hit the mountainside, exposing a cave entrance. As a fireball shot out, the cave was illuminated, revealing that it was filled with dragons. Stoic yelled for the attack to commence, aiming to take advantage of the moment and eliminate all the dragons. To his surprise, the giant dragons didn't fight back. Instead, they fled in panic, as if they had been frightened. Seeing the dragons retreat, the soldiers mistakenly believed they had driven them off and began celebrating. As the village chief, Stoic suspected things weren't as simple as they seemed. Then came a deafening dragon roar, shaking the mountain. From within the cave emerged a colossal dragon, far larger than any they had encountered before. The villagers, used to fighting regular dragons, stood frozen in shock. Stoic prepared to launch another attack with the catapults, but the Dragon King casually breathed fire, reducing their carefully constructed siege weapons and ships to ashes. The soldiers could only dive into the water in a desperate bid to escape. Stoic ordered his people to flee while he stayed behind, determined to face the Dragon King alone and buy his people time to escape. Facing the towering Dragon King, Stoic felt as small as an ant standing before an elephant. Just as the Dragon King prepared to unleash fire to eliminate Stoic, Hiccup and his group arrived. The sight of the young warriors riding dragons, full of vitality, shocked Stoic. The group used their respective skills to attempt to attack the Dragon King, but they were too small and weak to deal any substantial damage. Hiccup looked down and finally spotted Toothless. With Astrid's help, Hiccup leaped off his dragon and landed beside Toothless. Just as he was about to rescue Toothless, the Dragon King's attack struck them, sending them plummeting into the water. Hiccup, not a strong swimmer, fainted before he could save Toothless. Just in time, Stoic appeared. He pulled Hiccup out of the water, then dove back in to rescue Toothless. After being saved, Hiccup climbed onto Toothless and prepared to fight the Dragon King. At that moment, Stoic admitted his mistakes. Looking at his small son, Stoic said, "Son, you make me proud." Hiccup smiled with satisfaction and charged toward the Dragon King. Meanwhile, Astrid was about to be swallowed by the Dragon King. Hiccup, using a fireball, saved her. After making sure Astrid was safe, Hiccup and Toothless prepared to face the Dragon King alone. Toothless, with its agile flying, knocked the Dragon King to the ground. Furious, the Dragon King unfurled its wings and engaged Toothless in an aerial battle. While Toothless deftly darted between the mountains, the Dragon King violently shattered them with its brute strength. Earlier, Fishlegs had determined that the Dragon King had poor eyesight, so Hiccup decided to fight in the clouds to confuse the Dragon King. As expected, the Dragon King couldn't track Hiccup in the clouds and resorted to wide-area fire breath attacks. However, in this indiscriminate attack, Toothless couldn't avoid the damage. The fire scorched its artificial tail fin, setting it ablaze. With time running out, Hiccup realized he needed to defeat the Dragon King before Toothless's tail fin burned away. He decided to reveal his position and dive downward. The Dragon King immediately followed Toothless's trail and prepared to release fire. Just as the Dragon King opened its mouth to unleash its flames, Toothless swiftly turned around and shot fire directly into the Dragon King's mouth. The fire from Toothless exploded within the Dragon King's mouth, causing a fatal blow. The Dragon King fell to the ground, exploding in a massive burst, ending its life. The shockwave from the explosion burned the tail fin of Toothless, and just then, the Dragon King's tail struck Toothless and Hiccup. Hiccup fell into the flames, and the out-of-control Toothless desperately tried to rescue him. After the battle, Stoic found Toothless on the battlefield. However, he couldn't find Hiccup. As Stoic was about to lose hope, Toothless unfurled its wings and revealed the unconscious Hiccup. Hearing Hiccup's heartbeat, Stoic excitedly told everyone that Hiccup was still alive. The tribe cheered loudly as Stoic, with gratitude, patted Toothless on the head. When Hiccup woke up, he found himself lying in a house with Toothless by his side. In his initial confusion, Hiccup realized that his father had begun to accept peaceful coexistence with the dragons. As Hiccup sat up, he discovered that he had lost his left leg in the battle with the Dragon King. With Toothless's help, Hiccup limped toward the door. Opening it, he saw a peaceful scene of humans and dragons living together. Stoic, watching his son with pride, smiled warmly. Astrid then gave Hiccup a kiss. From that day on, Berk Island entered a new era where Vikings and dragons peacefully coexisted.